work together going forward to secure a free and open Indo-Pacific. The President noted in his opening remarks that this is the first multilateral summit he's hosted since taking office, and that's on purpose. It reflects his view that we have to rally democratic allies and partners in common cause, and his belief in the centrality of the Indo-Pacific to the national security of the United States. During the meeting, the leaders addressed key regional issues, including freedom of navigation and freedom from coercion in the South and East China Seas, the DPRK nuclear issue, and the coup and violent repression in Burma. The President and his counterparts also spoke to the competition of models between autocracy and democracy, and expressed their confidence that despite setbacks and imperfections, democracy is the best system to deliver for people and to meet the economic, social, and technological challenges of the 21st century. And I have to say that over the course of the meeting, a sense of optimism for the future, despite the hard times we're in, was on full display. The four leaders did discuss the challenge posed by China, and they made clear that none of them have any illusions about China. But today was not fundamentally about China. Much of the focus was on pressing global crises, including the climate crisis and COVID-19. And with respect to COVID-19, these four leaders made a massive joint commitment today. With Indian manufacturing, US technology, Japanese and American financing, and Australian logistics capability, the Quad committed to delivering up to 1 billion doses to ASEAN, the Indo-Pacific, and beyond by the end of 2022. The leaders also agreed that they would meet in person before the end of the year, and they launched a set of working groups, including an emerging technology group that will help set standards in key technologies like 5G and artificial intelligence, and another on cyber that will help our four countries meet this growing threat. These groups will deliver results by the time of the summit I just referred to that will happen before the end of the year. The Quad, at the end of the day, at the end of today, is now a critical part of the architecture of the Indo-Pacific. And today's summit also kicks off an intensive stretch of diplomacy in the region. Secretary Blinken and Secretary Austin will travel to Japan and Korea to meet with their counterparts in a 2+2 format. They're getting on the road this weekend. Secretary Austin will go on to India from there. Secretary Blinken and I will subsequently meet with senior Chinese officials in Anchorage, Alaska. And we will have other high-level meetings and visits in the coming weeks with leaders from the Indo-Pacific that will be announced soon. Just a word on Anchorage before I turn to your questions. We've spoken a lot about our fundamental strategy of establishing a position of strength in the early going. And after the work of the past 50 days, Secretary Blinken and I will enter the meeting with senior Chinese representatives from a position of strength. President Biden has signed into law the American Rescue Plan, and the OECD has now projected that our economic growth will be the highest in decades and will help power global economic growth. We're ahead of schedule on the President's ambitious goal of 100 million shots in 100 days. We've launched a bold effort to secure our critical supply chains. We've reclaimed our place in key international institutions, and with the current presidency of the UN Security Council, we passed a strong statement on Burma just this week. We've revitalized our alliances in Asia and Europe. Last week with the Europeans, we agreed to a pause in tariffs in the long-running Boeing-Airbus dispute, and we executed a strong joint response to Russia's poisoning of Alexei Navalny. We've begun deep consultations with our European partners on a common approach to our concerns with China. In Asia, just in the last few days, we've reached new hosting agreements for our troops and our bases with both Korea and Japan. And now we've taken the Quad to a new level. So make no mistake, today is a big day for American diplomacy. This summit is a big deal for the President and for the country, and we are looking forward to the work ahead. And with that, I would be happy.